When you're coming on to these platforms, be ready. Don't come completely blind folded. Do not come without knowing anything. Do not just tell clients that I know how to write, I can write very well, I'm a very good writer. Show them. Show them that you're a very good writer, that you have a huge portfolio. If you don't have an experience, doesn't matter. You want to be a freelancer or a content writer or a businessman or you're just applying for a job, content writing is a skill that you will need everywhere.
Viewers, I'm Kazi Mustansar Tafsir, host of Agent Writing, and we're back with another episode. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Ajanta Rezwana Mirza. Hi, Ajanta.
Hi, Tafsir. Is that what I call you? Tafsir?
Oh, it's Mustansar. It's fine.
Okay,
So, would you please
Mustansara.
introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay, hi everyone. Hello, assalamu alaikum. My name is Ajunta Rezwana Mirza, and I have always loved writing and reading and anything to do with books and fairy tales and thriller books and everything. But I never really thought that I would take it as a career or as a profession. I mean, I wanted to write, but that wasn't really a possibility because not a lot of people write. You just read books, but you don't see anyone who actually writes. But then again, I finished my studies. I wasn't really interested in studies. I love to read, but I wasn't really the school loving, the college loving kind of girl. So I finished what I could, and then I joined Jago Foundation, where I first started my career as a content writer. It can be called a content writing job. I worked there for 2 years, and I was mainly in charge of their websites, their social media platforms, and every kind of internal communications, newsletters, everything. I mean, I did the work, but I didn't really know that that was what content writing was. I just did everything I had to do, every kind of writing, from writing letters to recommendation letters to emails to everything. But I learned a lot. And then when I went on a maternity leave in 2012, I left the job. Always wanted to go back. I thought I would go back after I had my kid. I would go back. But then again, what happened is a friend told me about Odesk, which is now Upwork. So I heard about Odesk and how you can just get writing jobs on Odesk. So I was sitting at home. I was pregnant and then I had a little baby. I was sitting at home and there would be around 6, 7 months before I could go back to work. So I opened my own account, and it took me 7 to 10 days to get my first job. I started as a transcriber, which is my clients used to send me audios and videos, and I used to listen to them and type it out and send it back to them. I mean, this is almost automatic now. We have subtitles in YouTube and for videos, but back in 2013, we did it manually. So I started as a transcriber. Then I started writing bulk articles, like 50 articles per week, per 100 articles per week. And then slowly I started writing ebooks for Amazon Kindle, nonfiction ebooks. And I absolutely fell in love with writing ebooks. I mean, I still do. That's exactly the kind of work I do right now. I mainly write ebooks for my clients, mainly on Upwork. And they are mostly about self-help category, relationships, parenting, mental health issues, especially about mental health issues in children or kids. So that's the main kind of job that I do right now. I take around one or two, or not more than that, books per month because they're quite long. I write from 25,000 word ebooks to around 90,000 word ebooks. So they take me around a month to finish, and they need a lot of research, and I have to work very I have to do a lot of research for them, and they're very, very detailed. So that's the kind of work that I do. And recently, just 2022, in 2022, I started my own training and mentorship program. And I'm at the moment training writers, local kids to be writers. to be content writers because I've seen a surge of demand for content writers in Bangladesh, mainly in Bangla, but also in English. So that's my uh, recent target, that I want to create at least a handful of great writers for our local market. So that's me in a nutshell. I work part time. I am concentrating both on my workshop and on my clients equally, and that's it.
All right. It's great to know that you're handling your family, you have a baby, but you're also juggling work with it. It's commendable. So,
Thank you.
you've shared a lot, but what was your first freelancing
Okay.
project and how did you land it?
Okay, so the first time that I opened my account on Odesk, I didn't really start applying. This is something a lot of people do, and I discourage people to do it. I didn't just start applying to jobs. I scrolled through the jobs. I saw what the clients were looking for and what kind of writers they wanted, and what kind of jobs actually gave a chance to new writers, because I was a completely newcomer. There were a lot of interesting jobs that I was interested in, like books and interesting topics for articles, but I had a suspicion that I would not get that kind of job as a complete newcomer. So I started applying for really low paying jobs, totally uh, jobs that would welcome a newcomer, that paid a very very minimum amount, and who encouraged newcomers to join, to apply, because they had a low budget, or they had an urgent job to finish. And another problem that I faced was that I was not a native speaker. I was a non-native speaker, and I could not get a really good job as a newcomer. So I had to build up my account. I had to focus more on doing a good job. After I got my first job, I had to focus more on doing an excellent job, even if the payment was really really low. I gave it my 110 20%, because I knew that I would need good reviews. So my first freelancing job was, oh, that was really really, I had a bad experience. So I was completely new, and I didn't know anything. I saw that newcomers were welcomed at transcribing jobs, so I applied for one. And my client was a Filipino woman. She gave me a 1 hour video to transcribe as a sample. I didn't understand it. What I did was, I, instead of giving her a 5 minute transcription, I did the whole thing, and then I submitted to her, and it took me around 12, 14 hours to do it. And then she was surprised. She's like, I didn't ask you to do the whole thing. I just wanted to see if you could do it. But she was very nice, and when she saw that I had really tried and did a good job, she paid me for that thing. But she was so nice. She paid me some amount for it. But that was an excellent lesson for me, that I have to really really understand what I'm getting into, and it can really get lost in translation if I don't pay attention. I mean, back at that time, it was 2013. We didn't have any kind of support. I mean, no kind of. I didn't know anyone else who worked as a freelancer. Not like today, when you can hear this word everywhere, that this guy is doing freelancing, this guy is a freelancer. But back in 2013, no one knew about it. There was no one I could ask. So I had to learn. I had to keep on applying and getting rejected. And then I learned what to write in my applications, so that they actually come back and talk to me. It took me a long time. I got my first job in 7 days, but it took me around 6 months to actually understand what is happening on Odesk.
Okay.
And
How much time did it take for you to get a steady stream of clients?
exactly, this is exactly what I was talking about. It took me around 7 to 8 months till I could actually understand what I was applying for, and what they wanted to know, and what software to use, and how many kinds of transcriptions there are. And once I learned all this, then I started applying for actual jobs that I understood would be easier for me to do. Understood that these jobs would be a good opportunity to grow, and then I applied to them. So I would say 7 8 months. I did get jobs before that, but they were almost very low paying jobs, and I only got them because I didn't ask for enough. I asked maybe 1/10 of what other transcribers would ask for, because I didn't know. I had no idea what my worth was or what I should ask. So I would say 7 to 8 months, and then I understood exactly how to approach the clients.
All right. You've talked about Upwork. Do you work on other freelance platforms? Which platform is best and why?
Upwork was basically Odesk when I started, and I started on Odesk and then on Elance, but they merged together and created Upwork. So I have been working mainly on Upwork. I've tried Fiverr and freelancer.com, but I think in terms of being user friendly and being and having the best clients, Upwork is the best. Since I'm a old freelancer, if I have any kind of problems, they help me the best, because I have already built up a reputation on Upwork, and they listen to me. Try to see it from my point of view, and I think Upwork, according to me, is pretty much more user friendly and and easier to understand for a newcomer.
All right. Can you share some key milestones in your freelancing career that contributed to your success?
Okay, so I would say the first job that I got, that would be the transcribing job. I messed it up, but I liked it. It was a really, really new experience for me. I have never thought that I would work from home from a client who lives so far away. I mean, the whole concept was completely new. So even though I messed up, I can still remember every single thing about that job. And then I transcribed audios and videos for around a year. But then when my first client trusted me with writing articles, that was a huge deal, because I am basically a writer at heart. But transcription is very time consuming, and it's not a good job if I consider my own worth. I'm a writer, not a transcriber. No offense to anyone, but I have always wanted to write. So the first client, who was actually a client who gave me transcription work, and he said, "Jo, why don't you try writing articles?" And I was like, "Yes, I was born for it." So the client who gave me my first writing job, that was awesome. I took a job for 50 articles, and the deadline was a week. But I loved it so much, I finished 50 articles in 2 days, and he was astounded. I was happy. So that was an awesome job. And the other milestone work would be the first ebook I wrote. I mean, I have been writing blog articles and product descriptions, but when a client gave me an ebook to write, I mean, a book is something else. Even if it's a ghostwriting job, and if it's a nonfiction book, but I loved it. Creating a book, making it all the chapters up, naming the chapters, deciding what should go into the book. I loved it. I absolutely fell in love with writing a book, and that's the kind of work I chose to do later, because I have been working on Upwork for 12 years, and for the last 6 years I've been only writing ebooks. I love it that much. So these were my key milestone jobs.
All right. Since you shared us about your ebook writing journey, can you share with our audience some tips on writing ebooks?
So, ebooks, non-fiction ebooks, these are basically articles, self-help articles, or information that you want to share with your readers, but not just a basic information. You just want to give them every single thing they need to know about a certain kind of problem. I mean, I mainly write about mental health. So, if this is a book about depression or about ADHD, you have to give them everything. People expect a lot from books. People can read up to a lot of articles on website, but when it becomes a book, even if it's the same person writing it, they expect a lot. They expect a book to have all the answers. So you have to give them the confidence in the writer, The person who is writing this book actually knows this, because we know, we've been brought up respecting books, right? We know that we have to respect books, even if it's an ebook, not a physical book, not something you can touch. You have to build up that confidence that the person who is writing the book knows about it. And what I do is I always use my own experiences, my own opinions in the book, so that I people feel like I'm actually talking to them. When I write articles, I'm just giving them a small steps to do. For you have to do this, for that. If you want to go to a vacation, you have to pack this. These are the kind of articles we write, lifestyle articles. But when it's a book, then you have to sound confident, and you have to sound knowledgeable, and you have to give people what they want. They have to trust the writer and the book. So if you're interested in writing ebooks, know that it takes time, and you have to give each and every ebook everything you have. When it's on a simple topic, as simple as, I don't know, lifestyle, how to save money, or how to eat healthy, even on simple topics like that, give them every single thing you think that they should know. You have to be I just completely lost the word. I think it
Proper
will come.
researcher.
Researcher, you have to be very, very serious about it. Cannot be just a work, it cannot be just a job for that pays you money. You have the responsibility, that's the word I'm looking for. You need to be responsible, that you are writing a book that people will buy and read, and they are trusting you with the information, so you have to be responsible.
Tell us about your accolades from the freelancing community.
Oh, I when I started working as a content writer, for 3 years, I think I just worked. I never looked anywhere else. I didn't know who else was working in this field. But suddenly in 2015, I got awarded the Basis Outsourcing Award in the women category, female category. It's from Basis.
Oh,
It's
congratulations.
it's one of the most prestigious awards given to freelancers, and they're all still giving it to freelancers every year. And then I got another award in the same field from ICT division, and another from another private organization. And then BFDS, the Bangladesh Freelancers Development Society, gave me another one for Women's Day in 2021. And only last year I got another one from at the National Tech Award by DIU. So, but the most important ones were the basis one and the ICT division one. And I've also visited a lot of institutions, and I've taken online workshops, and a lot of people were interested in learning about content writing and about freelancing. So I've taken a lot of workshops and seminars for uh, institutions like BDOSN and BFTS, and I've also worked as a specialist on the for the NSDA, National Skill Development Agency, which is under the Prime Minister's office. And when they were creating a curriculum for content writing, and they're planning to execute, planning to take exams and giving out certificates for freelancers. So I've also worked as a expert there.
So you've done a lot of things, right? With someone who has so much on her plate, how do you manage your time effectively to handle multiple projects?
Okay, I used to take multiple projects at one time, and I used to work 8 hours, 10 hours a day, s- even with a small baby, two small babies at the house. But now I only work on ebooks, and I don't work a lot. I take only one project at a time. But what I do is, if I take three different jobs, I try to do them all equally. I mean, if I can, I know that I can work only 6 hours today or 3 hours today. I give each of these jobs equal amount of time. I mean, 1 hour for this job, one for this, one for that. If I don't do that, what happens is I finish one job, and then I look around and I see that I haven't even touched the other two, and I panic. It stresses me out. So I try to take jobs that has the same kind of deadlines, same kind of pressures, and I just give them equal amount of time. If 3 hours, then one, if 6 hours, then two. That's how I do it. But now, since I'm working on my workshop, and in taking podcast and doing live sessions, so I take very few jobs. I just work 2 hours in the morning, especially when my kids are at school. I drop them at school, then I go home and work, or I go to a coffee shop and work. And that's the kind of time that is exactly only for me. I can completely concentrate on my work, because when you can concentrate, you can do the job much faster than when you're at home and everything is going around you and you have to go give out decisions for what to cook and what to do. I cannot concentrate like that. So if I can concentrate, I can do the same job in half the time. So that's what I do.
All right. What strategies do you use to consistently attract new clients and projects?
I only apply for jobs that I know that I have like 80% chance of getting. I do not waste my time applying to jobs that I am not sure about. I only choose jobs when I am actually interested in the topic, because when I know the topic, when I know the niche, when I am interested in it, when I would love to write it, I know that I would automatically give it my 100%. I would give it my best. So I only apply to jobs that I know I would love, and I apply to them in a way that my potential clients also know that I am very, very interested to do that job. I mean, I tell them that I have experience in it. I tell them if I'm applying for a job that calls for a mother, for a parenting kind of niche, I tell them that I have kids. I know, I tell them that I know how to handle kids. If I am applying for weight loss articles, then I tell them that I have tried multiple diets and how they work, but I know what diets are. So I always speak about the topics. I don't just get into I worked for Atto years, I know a lot of stuff, I've did done a lot of stuff. I talk about the topic. I go directly and say I love the topic, I'm interested in this topic, I've done this thing. And that's how I apply to jobs, and that's how I make sure that even if I don't get the job, I hear from them. Sometimes the budget don't match, sometimes the times don't match, but I do hear for them from them, because that's how I've applied. Do I stand out with my replies?
All right. What is the best way to get jobs on a freelancing platform other than what you've just shared
Mhm.
with us?
When competition is much tougher now, we all know that. But when you're coming on to these platforms, be ready. Don't do what did. Don't come completely blindfolded. Do not come without knowing anything. Research about what happens in these things, what happens in these platforms, how do we progress, how do we start, how do we apply, know everything. Watch hours of videos on YouTube and do courses and talk to people who have worked here. And as a writer, I would say come with a very well prepared portfolio. Do not just tell clients that I know how to write, I can write very well, I'm a very good writer. Show them show them that you're a very good writer, that you have a huge portfolio. If you don't have an experience, doesn't matter. Show them that you have a portfolio, show them that you have written on this topic, and that you have actually written very good articles on the topic. So just come prepared. If you come prepared, if you are a good writer, if you have the skills, if you have the communication skills, you will be successful here, because we all need good writers. Clients need a lot of good writers. So come prepared with everything that you have.
All right. Let's get into client relationships now. How do you establish and maintain good relationships with your clients?
I just talk to them like the way I talk. I'm friendly, I'm approachable, I ask questions. If I make a mistake, I admit it. I take their advices very seriously. If they want any kind of edits, I do them, because it's their work, their book, their passion. And I always put the work first. I know it's about the payment, it's about my livelihood, but as a writer, I make sure that I'm giving them my best work, that I give them no chance to complain about me. That even if they don't like it, I will make edits, I will change it until they love it. That is what I think is a writer's responsibility. to a client, even if the articles are not published in my name, but I feel responsible for them. And I never over estimate myself. If I don't know something, I admit it. If I need a longer deadline, I tell them. If I if I am stuck somewhere, I tell them. I mean, I am completely honest. And that's how I end up working for a client for 5 years, 6 years. And that's exactly how clients from 10 years ago come back to me with small jobs. Even if it's a 5-minute job they could have hired anyone for, they come back to me and I do that. Even if my rates have increased tenfold in the last 10 years, I still do it for them because they were my clients once. They gave me a chance before, and I never disappoint them. So it's a long journey. I've been here for the last 13 years, and I'm still in good terms with my first clients because I am always honest with them and I give it my best. Every single job, I gave my best.
So I feel like transparency is the key here.
Yes, definitely. People can tell if you're being honest and good about it.
All right. How do you handle pricing and negotiations with your clients? And what is your advice for new freelance writers?
Okay, this is one thing I have struggled with because as as good a writer I am, uh, I consider myself quite to be quite good. And even if I'm a good writer, I do not get paid as much as a native writer would do because I am not I'm from a non-native country. I don't. My English is not my mother language. Bangla is my mother language. So I have had a pretty long run in trying to hike up my rate. It took a long time, but I had to convince them that I am just as good and my time is just worth just as much. And I gave them a lot of, I enriched my portfolio. I wrote in a number of magazines and I guest posted in other websites. I mean, I just made myself Googleable. If you Google me, if anyone Googles me, a lot of stuff come up. So I had to increase my worth. Instead of waiting for my clients to increase it for me, I had to increase my worth. So if someone says, "Yeah, why are you asking for such a high rate?" I tell them that I am that good and I am that experienced and I am everywhere. I might sound like I'm bragging, but this is something I tell everyone that make yourself worth it. Increase your
You're not
portfolio.
bragging. You're talking about your accomplishments. I don't think that's bragging.
You have to be confident in your worth. I am worth this, and I am not ashamed to ask for it. I am experienced. I always give my clients and my work everything I have. So I deserve the same rate that a native speaker does. So I still don't earn as much as them, but I have through my work and through the good reviews that I have got, and through that my name comes up in a kind of quite some spaces. So through all that, I have managed to convince my clients that I am maybe worth more. And for new freelance writers, I would say if you don't have experience, show it by making a good portfolio. Our jobs ask for like 10 years of experience. Even for newcomer entry level jobs, we are asked for experience, but we don't have experience. So if you don't have experience, show them by saying, Jay, I have experience in writing. I might not have experience in a job, I might not have gotten paid for it yet, but just see my portfolio. For a writer, there's nothing more powerful than a good portfolio. Don't just tell them I'm a good writer, I can write anything. Show them. When you
You have
show
to
them, that's
convince
enough
them.
proof. That's enough proof. You don't need anything else.
Right. So towards the start, you talked about your mentorship program, right?
Mhm.
So what kind of work does it do? Can you elaborate?
Sure. So when my clients, my international clients, they need a writer. They need it for writing English, right? There's a lot of writers who can write English, and not just from USA or UK, all around the world. So anyone who needs a writer for English content, They have the whole world to choose from. But what happens when our local market needs a writer? No one speaks Bangla except for Bangladesh and Kolkata, right? So when someone needs a Bangla writer, we need to find one from our local market. And I've seen that a lot of people can actually write pretty well. But there's a difference between writing well and content writing. Content writing requires rules. You have to know who to write for. Why are you writing this? What kind of tone to take? So I've learned a lot in these 13 years. I don't have any training. No one trains content writers. I mean, you're a writer, right? And you would know. No one trains content writers.
Yes,
But
exactly.
you
You just
have to
learn.
you learn. I am trying to give the not just kids, I won't say kids, but a lot of people who want to learn how to write for different reasons. Some of them have their own business, and some of them want to do jobs. Some of them want to blog. Some of them just want to, and they have their reasons. But I'm trying to teach them the rules to write content. It can be in English, it can be in Bangla. If it is in Bangla, they will find jobs in the local market, because I have been very active in the freelancing community for the last 10 plus years, and I know a lot of people. And whenever they need a content writer, they knock me saying, "Yeah, I need a writer." And I cannot find anyone to give them. So I started this, meant not just training. I don't just train them, I mentored them how to make their portfolio, how to apply. They show me the applications. When they're applying to jobs, they show me the applications, and I do go like, not this, not this, do not use this tone. So I give them every kind of support they might need to land their first, second, or third job. I try to match them up with clients. I mean, the people who knock me saying I need a writer, I try to match them up with my existing pool of writers who are ready. So that's the kind of thing my uh, program is doing. I'm giving them a 15-day uh, live class on how to write content and the rules of writing content and everything else. And then I'm mentoring them to enter the content writing field, both internationally and locally. So
All
that's
right.
my.
Where do you see your training program in 5 years from now?
So basically, till now, it's been a year. I've trained around 300 people, and around 25, 50 of them are very promising. I'm going to do this for another 3 years. And then when I have a pool of around 300 very good writers, i'm gonna I'm going to divide them in categories, and I'm going to further train each of them into one specific field. One category will be trained in SEO, one will be in creative, one will be in non-fiction or anything. I will just select them for further training based on what they want to write, based on what their interests are. And then I would just give you give the entire local community extremely good writers who knows what to write, how to write, and for whom to write, for every kind of content. So that's my 5 year or maybe 4 year plan.
All right. Um, Many people don't get inspiration in writing career. Can you tell me the scope of content writing?
To be
Now,
honest,
since like AI is a huge part
oh,
of our
AI,
life.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so
when
what?
AI and my workshop were both born on the same time, around the same time, December 2022. Just the month that I launched my workshop, AI came out. And everyone was like, workshop, content writing is over. You don't need it anymore. The computer will write everything. But it's been a year, and I'm seeing it. I have seen it. The AI is a tool. It's a very good tool. I use it, but I don't copy paste my writings. I use it to generate titles. I use it to get ideas. I use it for a format. I use it just as I use Grammarly or Hemingway or any other software. It's a very useful software, and AI could be a threat for actually for low level writers who just simply research something and paraphrase it, rephrase it. And AI, ChatGPT is not the first AI. I mean, we have software that can rephrase content, that can add content, that can uh, just rewrite the stuff. So is a very good tool. We all use it just like we use Google or Grammarly or anything. But what we write, lifestyle articles or ebooks or something that requires actual human interactions, human opinions, human emotions, I do not think that AI can replace that, at least not that easily. So we are going to use AI, we are going to use ChatGPT, we're going to use every kind of software that you come up with, but it will need human interaction. It will need the human common sense to know what people want to hear from us. So I don't think, I hope not, that AI could easily replace us, but it is meant to help us, and we are going to take it and use it in our work.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to share with aspiring freelancer or any final thoughts?
I am basically working for towards building a good group of content writer for the local community. So if you are not that good in English, doesn't matter. We need Bangla content writers. AI, we were talking about AI, right? AI can be used for English content, but try and get some Bangla content from it, you will have a heart attack. It is still horrible. People need Bangla content. So you don't have to be that good in English. Content does not only mean English content. We need Bangla content. We need Bangla content writers. And content writing is a skill. This is almost a life skill. This is something you can use in every single sector of your life. It's a transferable skill. Just you don't have to learn content writing and look for jobs. You can use it anywhere. If you have an online page, you can use your content writing skills to write the copies. If you want to write about something, you can use the skill to create your own blog. If you want to be an author, you can take the skill and write a book. So this is just a skill, and this is one of the most important life skills: how to write about what you want to tell people, how to write about what you're thinking, how to effectively manage information and write it in a systematic way. It's a life skill. It is something to learn and use any way that you want. So whether you're working, you want to be a freelancer or a content writer or a businessman, or you're just applying for a job, content writing is a skill that you will need everywhere.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We loved your ideas. We thoroughly enjoyed the interview. Thank you for sharing
Thank you
everything with
so
our
much. The
audience. And I
questions
hope,
were awesome. I haven't had this, I haven't answered this amazing questions in a long time. Really
thank you so
detailed.
much. You made it very interactive. And I'm pretty sure our audience will love it as well. Thank you so much. And I will see you all in our next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everyone.
Isn't it hard to find a content writer with a good expertise in writing? No need to worry. Agent Writing is now here to provide you high SEO content that will rank surely. Along with that, you can find the finest writers in different field of knowledge here.